You think you're safe because no one has seen you bleed. You think the clean edges, the tight jaw, the unbroken smile make you untouchable. You think the trick is to give them nothing. No weakness, no soft spot, no leverage. If I never show weakness, no one can touch me. That's the belief, right? You tell yourself that like a spell before you walk out the door. You iron your face. You straighten your life. You move like a statue that learned to walk. And you pray they never see the crack. Hear me, that idea is a trap. It feels like armor. It's actually a handle. You learned it because the world trains you early. The crowd cheers containment. Keep it together. Don't cry, don't shake, don't say the thing that could make you look small. There's always someone ready to pounce on a misstep. You've seen what happens online when a man fumbles a sentence or admits fear. He gets fed to the wolves. So you watch and you learn. The crowd rewards the mask and taxes confession, so you pay in silence. You lock up your mouth, you stare straight ahead. You try to make your whole life a clean resume. On the surface, it works. You get respect. People call you disciplined. They say you're solid. They say you're reliable. They ask you for advice because you don't leak emotion. You get the nods. You get the pats on the back. And your nervous system starts equating composure with survival. It's not logic. It's training, reward, and punishment. Your brain becomes a bouncer at the door of your mouth. It keeps the messy truths out. It curates, it edits, it deletes. It says, you don't need to say that, you don't need to share that, you don't need to look weak today. Let's keep it clean. Underneath that act, something else is happening. Your status brain is an accountant. It takes secrets and turns them into currency, but not the kind you spend with freedom, the kind you hoard with fear. It whispers, don't tell them about the panic you felt at 2 a.m. Don't tell them you made a stupid mistake at work. Don't tell her that last betrayal still hurts. Keep it, hold it, hide it. The calculus is simple. If they don't know, they can't use it. But that math has a hidden fee. Every secret you keep becomes a debt. Interest compounds, you pay every day in tension. Fear becomes intelligent when it learns to speak your language. It starts sounding like wisdom. Be strategic, be careful, be above this. It flatters you with words like dignity and stoicism while it pulls your strings behind the curtain. It convinces you your silence is strength. It convinces you that if you never admit a weakness, you never can be hit. But you're not becoming stronger. You're becoming managed by secrecy. You've built a house out of, don't say that. Here is the twist you don't want to look at. The more armor you wear, the bigger the handle you give the world, because there will always be something you won't say. And that always is the rope around your throat. The moment there is a place you cannot go with your words, that place becomes sacred ground for anyone who wants leverage. They don't need an army. They need one piece of information you're unwilling to own, one mistake you won't admit, one fear you won't name. That's the handle. They grab it, they yank, you snap. Look at your life. You cure your image like meat. Every move pre-approved by the committee in your head. You think before you laugh. You rehearse before you apologize. You scroll through old texts before you hit send because you're terrified of leaving a trail that shows you as human. You curate your relationships. You curate your ambition. You curate your pain. You shrink your truth to fit the armor. And when the armor gets tight, you call it discipline. But it's not discipline, it's control. And you can't actually control other people's thoughts. So you double down. You control yourself to death. This costs more than you know. You start faking ease. You start telling small lies by omission because speaking plainly would feel like self-sabotage. You avoid certain rooms because you're not sure you can manage your face. You avoid certain conversations because you can't guarantee the outcome. You give safe answers in interviews, you give safe desires in relationships, you present the PG-13 version of your soul and wonder why you feel bored. You carry a twitch in your jaw you call stress. You snap under scrutiny because one hard question points at the exact thing you're hiding. You get home and medicate the twitch. Work harder to distract it, scroll longer to numb it, drink just enough, hook up just enough. Pretend it's all momentum. Comfort is expensive, you pay for it with your voice. The worst part isn't that people might find out you're imperfect. The worst part is you already know you're imperfect, and now you think the only way to stay safe is to keep acting. You're not protecting your life anymore. You're protecting a character. That character might be impressive, but he's brittle. He can't be touched because he can't be real. He smiles like a locked door. He says, everything's fine, while his hands shake off camera. And then one day someone points at the thing. Maybe it's a boss holding your mistake in his palm like a stone. Maybe it's a woman looking at your distance and saying, where are you? Maybe it's a friend who hears the careful tone and says, you're hiding. Your stomach drops. Your mind scrambles for a cleaner sentence. Your heart sprints. They've found the handle. They tug. You feel rage rise because you think they're trying to control you. But all they did was find the line you drew around the truth. You gave them the leverage by pretending you had none. There's another way. It isn't pretty. It isn't neat. But it makes you powerful in a way no performance can. Say the hard thing first. There's a moment when you can cut the ropes you tied. You know what I'm talking about. The exact sentence you don't want to say. The one that would make you feel exposed. The one that would make your stomach drop and your shoulders unlock. The one that keeps popping up in your head, but you push it down because not now, not smart, not yet. That sentence matters. It is the pole holding the tent of fear. Pull it. Here's what actually happens when you speak it first. The threat collapses like a tent with no pole. The room gets quiet. Your heart hammers. And then you notice something you've been blind to your whole life. The thing you tried so hard to hide loses its teeth once you put it on the table. You owned it. You turned it from ammo into detail. People may react, they may respect you, they may not, but there's a freedom in you that burns hotter than their opinions. You stop bracing, you stop rehearsing, you start moving. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by surviving reality. When you say the hard thing first, you survive exposure, repeatedly. Your nervous system learns a new map. That panic you thought would kill you doesn't. That shame you thought would drown you doesn't. You stop being allergic to your own life. You get skin, real skin, not plastic. Voluntary exposure is inoculation. A small dose of truth on your terms makes you immune to the full-blown infection of public shame. What you own cannot be weaponized. It doesn't mean you confess everything to everyone like a fool. It means you choose the right people and the right moments, and you take the first shot at your own shadow. You hold the mic, you choose the words, you draw the boundaries. You don't wait for the world to discover your humanity and then punish you for it. You walk in first and you set the terms. Listen carefully. Preempt the leverage. Name your shadows in your own language. Don't let your enemy write your story. If you have a past mistake, say it. If you have a fear, mark it. If you have a part of you that hunts for escape when life gets stressful, call it by name. Then, in the same breath, set a boundary. Yes, I did that. No, you don't get to swing it in my face. Yes, I have this fear. No, you don't get to poke it to feel strong. That combination is power. Honesty without boundaries is bleeding in the ocean. Boundaries without honesty is a cardboard shield. Use both. You are not going to become unblackmailable by hiding better. You become unblackmailable by choosing visibility over leverage. You put your center on public domain. Not your private life, your center, your values, your scars you've processed. You walk into rooms with nothing to defend and everything to live. You tell the truth before someone can threaten you with it. You look a man in the eyes and say, here's where I stand. Here's where I failed. Here's where I won't bend. Try blackmailing that. Try shaming a man who already refuses to worship your approval. It doesn't work. Fear will try to keep you small. It will get sophisticated the closer you get to truth. It will say, you'll lose respect. You'll lose the deal. You'll lose the girl. You'll lose the audience. Maybe you will. The world has no shortage of people who trade authenticity for applause. But what do you keep if you keep hiding? You keep your image and lose your soul. You keep your script and lose your life. The life you want is hidden behind the actions you avoid. You know this. And the action you've avoided most? Speaking the sentence you don't want to say. Picture the man you respect, not the famous one, the real one, the man whose presence calms a room, whose eyes don't flinch, whose hands don't fidget with his phone when topics get heavy. What makes him different is not that he's perfect, it's that his center isn't for sale. He doesn't juggle masks when the wind shifts. He doesn't get yanked by whispers. He is not being managed by secrets. He has done the uncomfortable work of exposure on purpose. He has told the truth enough times that people's reactions lost their power. He is steady because he paid the price for steadiness.
You can do the same. You don't need a microphone. You need a spine. Start where it hurts. Pick one place in your life where you've been paying the silence tax. The debt is high. A relationship where you've been fake agreeing. A mistake at work you've been hoping gets buried. A habit you keep in the dark. A fear you keep at the back of your throat. Take it to the right arena, face to face, clear, sober, and say it first. Don't blame. Don't justify. Don't wrap it in a TED Talk. Simple. Real. This is what I did. This is what I've been hiding. This is what I fear. Then set your boundary. I'm not interested in being shamed. I'm interested in being honest. Here's how I'm moving forward. Will it be comfortable? No. Good.
Comfort is expensive. You've already been paying for it with anxiety, with distance, with a posture that never relaxes. Pay a different price now. Pay with courage. Pay with exposure. There's a return on that investment you can't get elsewhere. You get peace. You get congruence. You get the quiet mind that comes from standing in the open with your own name on your life. And stop pretending that silence is noble. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's you avoiding discomfort and calling it wisdom. Be honest. How many times have you dressed fear in a nicer word? I'm just private. I'm just focused. I don't want drama. You don't avoid drama. You outsource it. You push it into your future. You let it grow teeth in the dark. Speak and you stop letting the future hold you hostage. You reclaim time. You reclaim energy. You reclaim your power to act without scanning the room for ghosts. This isn't permission to be reckless. This is a directive to be real and responsible. Real means you say what's true. Responsible means you choose the time, the place, and the boundary. You don't vomit your life on social media to prove a point. You don't overshare with people who have not earned access. You aim your truth where it matters, and you own it without asking the world for a hug. That's masculine. That's leadership. That's control without strangling. There's a final layer you need to see, or you'll fall back asleep. If you won't say it, someone else will. Not what you once said. What serves them. The world loves a silence. It rushes to fill it. If you don't write your story, the crowd writes it for you with a blunt pencil and bad intent. Don't give them the pen. Write the line they can't write. Here I am with nothing to hide and nothing to beg for. That line is not arrogant. It's anchored. It's the end of needing them to hold your center for you. Imagine what happens to all the energy you've spent managing your image once you stop. Where does it go? Into action, into building, into loving, into being present, into lifting others without the hidden fear that they might see behind your curtain. You stop scanning for threats. You start scanning for moves. You become useful. You become dangerous in the right way, hard to manipulate, hard to intimidate, hard to buy. And yes, people will test you. They will poke. They will say, "Oh, so you think you're invincible now?" You are not. You're honest. There's a difference. Invincible is fantasy. Honest is strategy. You're not bulletproof. You're something better. You're unblackmailable. The worst thing they can do is tell a truth you already told. The worst thing they can say about you is something you've built your life to outgrow. That's not a threat. That's a reminder. Move like that and watch how your relationships change. People relax around a man who won't bluff. Women trust a man who will risk looking small to keep the bond clean. Men respect a man who won't let shame drive the bus. Work gets clearer. You stop promising outcomes you can't control and start stating standards you can. You stop trying to be impressive and start being exact. That's power, not Instagram power, life power. Let me say this without padding it. If you keep hiding, you will lose your edge. The world will turn you into a polite ghost. You will walk rooms smiling and shaking hands and never really arrive. You will pile up achievements like sandbags around a house no one lives in. You will turn to the screen when the silence screams too loud. You will grab for cheap dopamine when the real joy feels too far. You will turn into a man always a little angry and never sure why. Don't let that be you. Kill the performance before it kills you. The next step is not to think about this more. The next step is to practice. Small reps, real reps. Load the weight now, before the big moments, before the stakes are too high and your tongue turns to stone. Train the skill of saying the hard thing first. Go to your team and say, "I missed that." Go to your brother and say, "I lied." Go to your woman and say, "I've been distant because I'm scared." Go to yourself in the mirror and say, "I am not living at full power because I keep hiding." Say it, survive it, act after it. You will feel your body argue. You will hear a voice that says, "Not today, not wise, not necessary." That's the same voice that would have let you die in a life that looked good in photos. Don't bow to it, nod, thank it for its concern, and then do the opposite. What happens next is not softness, it's steel. You will get clearer. The myths other people believe about you will shed like skin. The ones who used your silence to feel big will fall off. The ones who wanted your mask will get angry because they can't hold you anymore. Let them. The ones who wanted you real will step closer. They'll know where to stand. They'll know how to trust you. They'll know how to challenge you because you taught them your language. That's leadership. You lead people into truth by leading yourself into it first. Remember this and write it on your day. What you won't say runs you. What you say, you run. Choose who's in charge. The man who says the hard thing first is not reckless. He is precise. He aims his words like a tool, not a weapon against himself. He doesn't wait for the world to call him out. He calls himself up. You already know what your sentence is. Don't lie. It's hovering at the edge of your teeth as I speak. That one. The thing you swore you'd never say, that's your door. The handle you gave the world is the handle you need to rip off your own armor. Do it today. Not for applause, not for catharsis, for control, for steadiness, for a life that doesn't tremble every time someone looks too closely. From this moment forward, your rule is simple. No hostage truce. If it can be used against you, you either fix it or you speak it. If it's a failure, own it and build after it. If it's a wound, name it and guard it without shame. If it's a desire, claim it and pursue it clean. If it's a line, draw it in ink. You hold the mic, you choose who hears, you choose the timing. You keep your center public, your details private, and your standards visible. If that sounds harsh, good. It's supposed to be. The world won't slow down for your fear. It will just roll over you and call it culture. Stand up. Speak first. Take back your voice from the committee in your head. Stop letting other people auction your courage. This is the fork. On one side, managed by secrecy, shrinking, polished, brittle. On the other, unblackmailable, steady, human, dangerous in the right way. It is not about being loud. It is not about bleeding for attention. It's about choosing exposure over leverage, truth over image, boundaries over performance. It's about being a man who, when pushed, doesn't scramble for a mask, but stands in what is true and moves forward with both hands free. Now the challenge. Before today ends, speak one hard truth to the person who needs to hear it. Don't posture, don't dramatize, be clear, be done, then move, fix what you can fix, end what needs to end, begin what needs to begin, build the life that only a free man can build. Because this is the fact you can't argue with. The man who cannot be blackmailed runs his life. The man who can be blackmailed is run by anyone with good timing. Choose. Say it first. Burn the handle. And walk out the door lighter than you have in years.